It has now been 3 years since I uploaded my first video on this channel and started this whole crazy journey. Since then, I've uploaded hundreds of episodes, and I've actually turned this into my full-time job because of your support on Patreon, where you can watch the videos early and extended. I always figured if this thing was successful, I would get to travel the world and I would get to ride the best trails in the world. But I never imagined that I would get to meet so many cool people and make so many friends and build an overwhelmingly positive internet community. We know how the internet goes. It's not overwhelmingly positive. I knew what I was getting myself into. I wasn't a great rider. I wasn't a great mechanic. I'm still not a great mechanic. Even so, the comments were so overwhelmingly positive. I was just a normal guy bumbling through life, trying to turn this into something real. And I still feel like I'm a normal guy bumbling through life, but I've turned it into something real because of you guys, and now I have you guys rooting for me and excited to see what's coming next. My absolute favorite part about this is meeting you and hearing your stories about your favorite episodes and how they affected you and how they maybe got you into mountain biking in the first place, or got you back on the bike after 10 years, or got you to lose 25 pounds. I hear these stories time and time and time again, and it is always the best. So now that we have thousands of people joining the channel every month, the archive of BKXC episodes is quite overwhelming. There's a lot to go through. So I wanted to create this video to kind of give the fan favorites, the best of from your guys' perspective, and show everyone that's just jumping in right now, here's the greatest hit. So I posted a thread on Reddit, and I had you guys jump in the comments and upvote your favorite comments, and I think it turned out great. I got all kinds of stories and anecdotes, and we're gonna go through them here, and I'm gonna have a playlist in the description so you guys can catch up on these episodes that you may or may not have missed. Let's just start it off with the best. The best on top. The most upvoted post was from Frankfurter, and he really enjoyed the BC POV bikepacking series I did with Eric and the Chilcotins. He said it was just pretty to relax and watch. That was an unforgettable trip for sure. I'd already been riding with Eric a bunch previously in the Whistler Valley and Squamish and Pemberton, but we got out in the middle of nowhere, and man, I was super surprised how good the riding was. These are super rugged. I don't even know how they maintain these trails out in the boonies, and it was still really, really fun riding. Number one disappointment, I never saw a grizzly bear. I'm just gonna have to get back out there and go look for one. Bill Swartzwelder also really enjoyed the BCPOV bikepacking series and said it totally changed his perspective on mountain biking, from just riding trails in parks to seeing the sport as a way to get out and experience the outdoors for pleasure, rather than seeing it as only as a pursuit of winning a race or trying to get more fit. JL Mac's favorite series was me at Bike Park Wales, where I got to ride with Blake Sampson and I got to ride with Georgia Leslie. Both of those videos were super fun. Bike Park Wales was legit, and it was so cool. It was also great when I went to the UK how dry it was, and it was nice and dusty. It wasn't all wet and rainy, so I actually got to film in great conditions, meet great people. I still remember those trails so much of how, yeah, it was good stuff. MI Techie's favorite video was I'm going for it. Of course, that's in reference to the classic moment, me, Alexander, the single track sampler, and Seth from Seth's Bike Hacks riding together for the very first time on the whole enchilada, even though it was like the 3/4 enchilada. We didn't go all the way to the top, which is probably lucky for that day. That would have killed us if we had gone all the way to the top. There's a moment in that video where I get really close to the edge of the cliff and I say I'm going for it, and it scares everybody. And I feel like that's my contribution to the MTB YouTuber lexicon. You know, we have PRD, Pre-Ride Dump, from Seth. We've got Live Free, Ride Hard, Get Stoked from Alexander. And but for me, I'm going for it. I think that's my like little catchphrase that I've heard other people say, and I'm proud of it. And then MI Techie goes on to say, these are the episodes that got him inspired to bring his bike to Portland and go follow in my footsteps a bit and dive into this traveling around and riding trails thing. That is so cool. Patrick Williams is also a pretty big fan of the Porcupine Rim Moab videos because it actually got him to come out on my Chasing Epic Moab trip, and we got to ride that trail together. It was his first like real vacation. It was his first time on an airplane. So how cool is it that my videos got him hyped up to take action action and get outside and travel. I love it. Adam F. 1984's favorite video was me and Alex riding Bear Creek in the Pinhoti Trails in Georgia, and I believe that was the final episode of Redemption 17. That's where we parted our ways, and I got back to life on the West Coast, and Alex hung out on the East Coast some more and eventually got the van, and that was probably a year later, but still, it's all part of the story. But Adam was saying that he must have watched it 20 times because he was planning a trip there and he wasn't ready for the climbs. That's great. Agato Fox's favorite series was Basque MTB, the Backcountry Pyrenees, with Carlos and Borja and Antonio and Doug. And he says, my first trip with Basque MTB was a huge inspiration for him. If you follow the channel for a while, you know I love Spain, and you know I love talking about Spain. I've been there twice. I'm planning to go later this year. I'm gonna have some 2019 Spain action on the channel. I cannot wait to get back to those trails and see if my riding has improved, and see if I don't kill myself out there. It's hardcore. It's amazing stuff.
Mi amigo!
CXK jumping in with his favorite episode, and he thinks it's the Arkansas Awesomesauce video. That's when me and Seth and Alex made it down to Arkansas. That's where Alex famously dislocated his shoulder and kind of was the whole impetus for Redemption 17. CXK says, I was under the weather and it was perfect outside, but I had to sit indoors and miss out. I was still fairly new to riding and never gone on any sort of mountain biking trip. It was just local riding, and I was ready to expand my horizons. Bentonville was the closest destination, so I studied the videos and planning the trip simultaneously. That's so cool. I love hearing that. I love hearing that a video actually got you guys to go out and ride and go travel and see something that's outside of your own little bubble. Zeon Rage is a big fan of the video where I laugh nervously. It happens quite a bit. Let's Go Ride Bikes 18 really enjoyed my Razor's Edge video from Canmore. It was one of the first videos he had watched and said, you know what? I think I could do that too. Man, that trail was rough stuff, and it was so cool riding with Eric and having him lead me down. He crashed, dislocated his pinky at some point, but was not discouraged at all. I really, really hope I can get back to that trail someday and just see it again for the first time and rip it. For Rockham, it was the Redemption 17 series, the classic East Coast road trip with me and Alexander. Rockham had only been watching BKXC videos for a little while, and he had seen a few single-track sampler videos, but then us coming together really gelled, and he really enjoyed the series. The Footpath Bandit, I love that username, that's so good. His favorite video was the Helvellyn Descent, and it's something that he could relate to because it's one of his favorite rides. That descent was absolutely nuts, and I loved it. It just coming down on these big granite stair steps, one after another, bouncing down, and just some of the turns were super tough and scary, and then seeing hikers coming up, and such a beautiful day, and the views and the lake and the wind, and all of it was just made for great memories. Fenrir MTB's favorite video from my channel is Downeyville, and I have many Downeyville videos on my channel, but I knew which one he was talking about because he mentions a bear, and this is on the Downeyville full run video. It's about 45 minutes where not a lot of talking, it's a lot of trying to go fast, and eventually when I get to the lower section, a bear runs across the trail, and I think it's a pretty good Easter egg for BKXC fans because I don't know how many people made it that deep into that video to actually see the bear. The Foft, his favorite video was What Are We Getting Into? And that is me and Guy Kesteven hike-a-biking up to the top of Snowden and going down and just getting blown around by the wind with some amazing, amazing scenery. I popped my back tire, I have to fill it up with that goop stuff, eventually it seals, and the Fof says that whenever he introduces someone to my channel, this is the video that he gives them first, just to show what mountain biking can be. And that is like the highest compliment for me, that somebody, you know, has an idea that wants to get someone into mountain biking and they're like, here, watch this, and this is what mountain biking can be, and that's so cool. Atreyu Owl's favorite video is Wheels on the Ground in Africa. It was the first video of mine that he saw, and he's sentimental about it. I love that. I love that the first video you watch could be like just such an awesome video and drags you in and pulls you into this whole adventure, and then there's other videos to watch, and especially this whole Africa series with me and Adam was just amazing. It was a total leap of faith, and it totally worked out. And we had such a blast riding 5 days of awesome riding in Africa, in Kenya, and I enjoyed it so much. Pararar's favorite video, the Rockville Sessions. This is one that I don't hear about as much, but I really, really liked filming this video, and he really liked the video because I explained the features of the trail, and the video has some nice technical riding, and it's all third-person, fixed camera, non-POV riding from me, which is very, very rare. My legs were killing me after this day because it was a lot of like hiking around and putting stuff up, and it was like 5 hours or so out on the trail, just kind of making everything right. A lot of effort, and I think it was well worth it. I really enjoyed that video as well. D Belly Flop really enjoyed the Right to Roam series, the two-parter, me and Mick Trail Rider going out in the middle of nowhere on a big old mountain bike loop, just out there, just way out there, and D Belly Flop really wants to do everything he can to get there next year and do that ride. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you can survive it, you can enjoy it. Andrew was such a great guide, McTrail Rider, and we're going to do some riding together later on this year when I get back over to Europe, and I'm looking very, very much forward to it. Peasantry is Fun's favorite episode was Tibet Part 8. This bridge is totally rideable, and they say it got them into mountain biking. It was probably the first time they saw a mountain biker. They randomly searched for mountain biking, and it was one of the first results. It was so cool watching someone ride that fast through the wild on a bike, and they wanted to try it. That is so cool. That's like the ultimate story. I love it. And that was the final day of that Tibet trip, and it had all kinds of adventure and culture and just high altitude craziness. It was something I will never ever forget. Wagon Heritage's favorite episode is Searching for San Francisco Single Track, and they said it just blew their mind that in a city like San Francisco there could be little pieces, bits and pieces of single track, and that was so cool. That was my first ride with my buddy Tom. We had maybe ridden together before, but it was in a big group, so got to see Tom's little local shredding, and then we've seen Tom in the Angwin video more recently. Such a good guy to go out and take me out and have so much fun. The stoke is real when you're riding with Tom. Northland NZ's favorite episode is where it all started with me and Alexander, the single track sampler, Monarch Crests, September 2016. And I am having a hard time remembering right now, but I think those were my first extended cut videos on Patreon. I know it's the first time I ever rode with Alex, and we were out there in friggin' awesome Colorado. I was on the S-Works Enduro, just bombing down these trails that I really, really, really need to ride again and to relive and recapture the magic. Such good memories, such good memories. That really is where it all started. I had just quit my job, and I was going in hard. For Dell 1337, it was my workshop build. I think that's so cool that somebody found me from my videos building the Nugatorium and searching and actually stuck around, and somehow it coincided that they were also a mountain biker or like mountain bike videos. I love that. My favorite part about those videos is that it's me and my dad working together, and I'll always have those videos to remember us bouncing around in here and dropping stuff and all the silly behind the scenes stuff that went into building this thing. And finally, the Real Shafto's favorite episode was for true cyclopaths only. This is absolutely one of my favorite rides of all time. I was riding with Aaron from MTBing Adventures. It's a two-parter, and Grouse Ridge, it was one of the most amazing, visually, technically, just the total complete package of what I imagine mountain biking being, and to be able to capture it and to be able to really bring it to you guys and hopefully make you feel what I was feeling. That is the true magic of this channel. That is the whole point of this channel, and hopefully I didn't cause anyone to go out and ride this and die, because it's a big ride, especially when it's hot out. You got to bring your water filter, and hopefully this summer I'll get back out there. I'm going to make a point to get back out there and do this ride again, because it's just that damn good. I've got the link to the Reddit thread in the description. I've got the link to the playlist of all these fan favorite videos. You guys had some great anecdotes, some great stories. Leave some more comments on this YouTube video. I want to know what the first video you ever saw of mine was and how that actually got you to stick around, what your favorite video was. what video you've watched more than once. I love it. I love hearing that. It just gives me a good idea of what I'm doing and maybe some video ideas for later on to, ooh, if people really like this. This really struck a chord. I should try to do more of that. It's all about pleasing you guys and pleasing myself and trying to ride what I think is great, but it's a back and forth process. It really is. The fan generated ideas, the fan focus is really what has kept me going this whole time. And thank you guys so much. 3 years, going strong. Coming up next on the channel is Moab. Moab rocks, my 3-day XC stage race. I get my first ride on my BMC Agonist on Wednesday's video. The next week, it's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all 3 days in a row. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from Moab rocks. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the trail.